Are you looking for some low pressure, easy to do activities for your sketchbook? Well, that's what today's video is all about. Hello everyone, my name is Leah, and here on my channel, I like to share different ways that you can use art as a tool towards healing. As an individual with chronic health issues, I know what it's like being stuck on the couch or in bed or at a doctor's appointment or hooked up to something and needing art. So in today's video, I want to show you 5 different ways that you can work in your sketchbook either while you're at home or while you're at the doctor's or laying in bed somewhere. Now, before I dive right into the actual first one I want to show you, I just want to clarify that these activities can be done with any art supply. I'm going to be using my art creation sketchbook and a mixture of colored pencils and markers. If you prefer to use watercolors, gouache, anything, ink, this can be done that way as well. So, the first simple and easy thing that you can do in your sketchbook to help is a doodle gradient. Now, with this one here that I'm illustrating, I'm doing a rainbow just because I felt like displaying all the color options that I had on hand with me. But if you're not the type of creator that has all the colors under the rainbow and you like to stick to earthy tones or all blues or anything like that, use the colors that you have and arrange them from maybe light to dark or from, bluey greens to deep purpley blues or anything like that. What's great about this kind of activity is the way that it can really help you clear your mind. Think back to the days when we were kids and we would sit in class and our brains would wander because school, and you would start doodling in your notebooks or on your textbooks or anything, and how it just helped you. For me, it was the way that I escaped and calmed my mind and made sure that I just took a moment for myself. And this same activity can be done now that we're older and working in a sketchbook. It doesn't have to be fancy. It can be any kind of doodle that you want it to be. It could be the same shape. It could be a mixture of shapes, just like I'm doing here. What I love about this doodle gradient is the fact that you might not know it while you're doing it, but this actually helps you as a creator to get a little bit better with your supplies themselves, because it lets you just get familiar with how the colors might look side by side with other colors, or how the textures look next to one another, as well as just how you can move your wrist around while creating different shapes. For my doodle gradient, I've chosen to do it in a more chaos method, but if you want, you can be more specific and actually draw out grids and shapes for it. Do you think this is something that you'd like to do in your sketchbook? Do you think it would help channel that inner child energy? Now let's move on to my second idea, and this is something that I have loved to do throughout the ages, and that is creating a scribble fill-in. It's not a fancy name, but trust me, doing this activity is so helpful. So what I like to do is pick out a dark pen, close my eyes, and let my wrist move around the page. And then afterwards, I go in and I start to fill in all the spaces like you're seeing right now. The trick to this that you may not know is that it's secretly helping you get familiarized with movement and exercising your wrist. So by doing these kind of scribble in doodles, you are unknowingly moving your wrist and your arm, and it's kind of like a workout, a little exercise. Okay, so I had to share this. In the middle of filming this activity, my puppy was needing some serious loving, and I just thought a little puppy break is perfect for the day. Okay, back at it. Now, because of the movement of your wrists, the little doodles that you do within your shapes that you've created can also act as a form of wrist and hand coordination exercises like I'm doing right here with the squiggles. or you can just fill each area in with a solid color. I love when I'm doing this to kind of like keep all the colors that I'm using away from each other and see if I can not overlap or have them touch against each other. It's just a fun little activity that I like to do for myself while I'm, in the process of making anything with this kind of activity. I know I mentioned how this is great for wrist activities and, stretching your muscles and things like that, but don't think of it that way when you're actually creating. This is just a fun activity where you can let loose, explore, and just create. When I was in the process of actually filling out these spaces and starting to see what it was becoming as a shape in the end, I started to picture this as a mouse in my mind. I was like, it kind of shapes like a mouse, maybe holding something or bringing it up to its mouth. And as I'm filling in the final shapes here, I was like, yeah, it's a mouse. I'm definitely going to add those little features in the end. So that's also just a fun little thing that you can do when you're doing these, is take a step back and be like, does it look like something? Can I create it into something? And have your little doodle fill-ins become little doodle monsters. It's fun. I like it. Have you ever tried doing this? Do you think this is something you'd like to try? All right, now let's go on to our third sketchbook fill-in idea that I actually really love doing. I don't do it as often as I used to, but pick out colors that you're going to use and then put on a song. I understand that music isn't for everyone. When they're creating, sometimes you need silence. So this might not be for you, but I like to create. Do you guys remember in the 90s and the early 2000s where Windows had the music player and it showed that psychedelic little window display thing when the songs were going? Yeah, this is that, but in our own little doodle way. Put on a song, and while you're listening to it, grab colors, create shapes that you feel help illustrate the emotions that you feel while you're listening to that song. Go as crazy as you want, be as detailed as you want, put that song on repeat if you feel like it. Really just take a moment, breathe, sing it with the song, belt it out if that's the way you like to go with it, and allow your mind to get into this activity itself. Just let loose. Don't think of anything. Just go with the flow. I personally was actually listening to an oldie but a goodie. It's Beauty and the Beast with Celine Dion, and I'm just currently in a rewatching Disney classics kind of mood lately. And yeah, so I was listening to that song on my CD player. And yes, I said CD player, okay? I'm cool, I'm old, and I'm cool with it. And this is just, because it's that classic Celine Dion song, I pictured Belle's dress and I went with like nice warm colors and I just had fun with it. It doesn't have to be fancy. And what I really like about this activity, and I've realized I should do this more often when I do my iron infusions, is the fact that this is kind of one of those things that you can do when you're at the doctor's office, because you can put your headphones in, listen to a song, and just escape the environment that you're in while you're doing this. Bonus points if you decide to label the sketchbook page with the song that you're listening to, and then you can reflect back on it maybe in the future to see how you felt with that song or where you were at the time. Now that we're moving on to idea number 4, this one here is a classic for art exercises, and it's called blind drawing. It's when you look at an object and you put your pen or pencil on the page and you create a consistent line while looking at the object itself. So while your eye moves, your arm is moving on the page to create the thing in front of you. It is not easy. It's not meant to be beautiful. It's meant to be something to help stretch your creative muscles. But hear me out. A way to make it fun and feel less like an art exercise or like art homework is to take it a step further. Do the basic blind drawing. I drew this in my studio. This new teapot was a new purchase of mine and I just felt inspired by it. But the way that you can take the items that you're drawing in the room that you're in to the next level to make it a little bit more fun, because sometimes this kind of exercise can feel more like homework, like I just said, is to also blind draw patterns on top of it or colors on top of it. The teapot itself has a pattern on it, so I start to blind draw the pattern itself. You might have a a lamp in front of you. Does that lamp have any color to it? Does it have any detailing? Those kind of things that you can add on top of it. It's not about creating something that's perfect. This exercise is more about just letting loose, letting go of perfection, and allowing yourself to just observe the room that you're in. I know what it's like to sit in a doctor's room somewhere in the hospital and you're staring at these beigey walls, kind of like an ugly yellow color sometimes, and you're staring at the same objects over and over again. Well, what if you took one of those items, like a chair or an IV hanging thingamabobber, and did something with it and brought joy to it and added colors or patterns or things or objects that you love on top of that thing? So that's where this idea comes from. And it's something that I like to do because in those moments, we need to just add some joy to our day. If we're stuck in bed and we've been having a flare up and we've been laying there for a week, pick something in your room that gives you joy, that has a great memory attached to it, and you blind draw it and then do the blind detailing and things like that. When you're done doing the blind drawing aspect, you can stop at any point and then actually go in and focus on details if you'd like. Add flourishes, do whatever you feel like needs to be done. Put joy into this activity. Don't treat it like it's homework. Treat it like it's fun. And just be amazed and surprised at what you get, because you never know. This type of thing can really help you in the end. Have you ever tried doing a blind drawing exercise before? Okay. We're moving on to the last sketchbook filling activity that you can do that's super easy, and that is creating a pattern. I know that sounds complicated. It might. For some people, the idea of creating patterns is frightening. But what's great about doing it in your sketchbook and just being really loose about it is that you don't really have to think about placement. Don't think about creating this professional looking thing. Pick something that you're inspired by. And I was still inspired by my teapot at the time. So I started just creating like weird looking fruits and flowers and greenery. I didn't go in with a plan. I just started picking random placements for all the items. And this is something that you can do not only with paint, but with your colored pencils, your markers, stamps. If you really have a collection of stamps, you make your own stamps, anything like that, you can do it with that as well. Personally, I prefer to do it with paint. I just feel more loose and free when I do it that way. But I know that when I am out and about, it's easier for me to have my mixed media supplies like my colored pencils and markers with me. And this activity is something that you can come back to as well. So if you're sitting on the bus on your way to work, this is something that you can quickly do. Then when your stop is pulled, you can, get off, go back to work. When you're having a 15-minute break, you can come back to it. This is one of those activities that when you need a break, you can easily go back to it and start working on it over and over again until you feel like that page is full, or you're done with it, or you're just like, I've been inspired by something else. I also feel like I just need to say this, that sketchbooks are meant for exploration and expression. And I know in society now, especially in the creative world, sketchbooks are put on display as if they're works of art themselves. And there are artists out there that use them as that way. Like, they are sketchbook artists. They only work in their sketchbook. They create beauty this way. But you do not have to treat your sketchbook that way. You can use it as a tool to help you to keep your mind calm, to express your emotions, to give you something that you can do to take away anxiety or to refocus your energy. It doesn't have to be to create a beautiful final masterpiece. It can just be simple and easy activities to help you bring art into your day. I hope this helps. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know in the comments section below. I really do hope that you try to do some of these activities, so let me know. And until next time, stay magical.